Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is your host, Jen, here with P40ministries.com. We are in Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 through 37 today, and I'm going to be reading out of the NLT version just because I like the way the NLT words this particular piece of scripture. So before I begin, I want to make a kind of annoying announcement. If you would have heard Wednesday's podcast, you would have heard me finish the entire thing and then go on a whole spiel about God's rainbow. Well, I did not mean to do that. The platform that I use to record my podcast episodes just sometimes randomly will scramble things that I'm saying. So that part that you heard at the very end of Wednesday's episode should have been in the middle somewhere. And like I said, I did not mean to do that. It's a bug in the system, and it actually happened Thursday as well, but it was much shorter. I said something kind of weird, like right in the middle of talking about divorce, and you might have heard it, you might not have. It was only like 2 seconds long. It was so short, but it was so annoying. I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to switch over to a different platform soon, and I'm going to, and I'm working my way there. But until then, please just bear with me as you hear some of these crazy mistakes I'm making, because like I said, the platform I'm using is not only free, but it's also kind of garbagey. So please forgive me for that. Let's go ahead and start reading Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 through 37. I'll be reading out of the NLT version of the Bible. You have also heard that our ancestors were told, "You must not break your vows. You must carry out the vows you make to the Lord." But I say, do not make any vows. Do not say by heaven, because heaven is God's throne. And do not say by the earth, because the earth is his footstool. And do not say by Jerusalem, for Jerusalem is the city of the great king. Do not even say by my head, for you can't turn one hair white or black. Just say a simple, yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. I don't know if you noticed this, but Jesus is starting out each paragraph in the Sermon on the Mount with a different part of the law. So he says here in verse 33, you have also heard that our ancestors were told, you must not break your vows, you must carry out the vows you make to the Lord. And that was a whole thing in the Old Testament law about making vows to the Lord. I think there was like maybe two or three chapters on making vows to the Lord. Actually, it was quite a long portion of scripture about how to carry out vows properly to the Lord. And I think Jesus is making these statements about the law to correct people's modern day thinking about the law, because people at this point were extremely legalistic, because these Pharisees, or the teachers of the religious law, were coming in and making it about themselves rather than about God. So what I mean by this is these Pharisees were making these insincere vows and performing these crazy vows and saying like, look, I'm going to do this for God. And it was only to make themselves look better. It was not really a vow to God. It was a way for them to look like they were so religious and so wonderful to all these people that were around them. But Jesus is saying here, don't do that. First off, you're not supposed to make insincere vows. But then in verse 34, he says, don't make any vows. And I think people have taken this so far as to not even want to put their hand on the Bible in court and make that vow that they won't lie in court. But I don't think that's what Jesus is saying here. I think Jesus is saying, like, just don't make vows. If you're going to do it the right way. But because of humanity, it's really hard to do it the right way. And since Christians believe that Jesus is God, I am sure that Jesus, for years, saw people making these vows that they intended to keep but never could. So Jesus is saying, don't make any vows. Just don't do it. I mean, if you do, follow it through and do it the right way, but just don't make a vow, because you're probably not going to be able to keep it in the first place. And then he goes on to say in verse 34, don't say by heaven, because heaven is God's throne. So now he's talking about swearing. So don't swear to either God or to other people and saying like, I swear to you, I'll do this. I swear by heaven, I'll do this. Don't do that, because that's wrong. And he makes a whole list of what you should not swear by. And he says, don't swear by anything, actually. Don't even swear by your own body, because you can't change anything on your body. And he says at the very end here in verse 37, and I love the way the NLT words this verse, he says, just say a simple yes, I will, or no, I won't. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. So he's saying here, don't swear. Just say, yeah, I'm going to do that for you, or no, I won't do that for you. Don't swear to somebody and be like, I swear to you, I will do it. Just say, yes, I'm going to do it for you. And he says something kind of interesting at the end. Anything beyond this is from the evil one. And I really had a hard time processing that. Why is swearing from the evil one? Like, why is making vows and swearing to people from the evil one? Well, as I was mulling it over, I kind of thought that because humanity has such a hard time keeping vows and, keeping promises to people that they swear to, or, making promises to God, it is from the evil one. Because if we can't keep those promises, we look foolish and we look like liars. And Satan's main goal is to make Christians and people who follow Jesus look like foolish liars, because then other people will not want to become a Christian. And Satan is doing a very, very good job of that. Let's be honest. And so Jesus is kind of protecting Christians in a sense by saying, don't swear, just say, yeah, I'm going to do it, or no, I won't. And that is to help us not look like foolish liars. And it is from the evil one. When we swear something, we better follow through with it. And if we can't, or if we don't, we became a liar. And that is wrong. So that was Matthew 5, verses 33 through 37. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that it spoke to you in some way. And if it did, go to my Facebook page and like it, P40 Ministries Facebook page. And also go to my website, www.p40ministries.com, and subscribe to the emails there, because I do a lot of different blog post updates and other things that you might be interested in. And I have a few secret things coming out soon I'm really excited about. Hopefully my microphone will be up and ready soon, and I will get a different platform for recording. But until I do, I hope that you stick with me and that you keep reading the Bible with me, because I really enjoy doing these podcast episodes, and I hope you enjoy listening to them. But I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day and that you are blessed. Happy listening.